Hello, welcome to the Television Affair, and my name is Johnny Robinson, and it's a slight change to the regular programming today because I asked you what channels you'd love to see but it would never happen. So I've taken your suggestions and, well, this is what happened.
Welcome to the bookshelf. All books, all the time. Documentaries, discussion panels, and interviews with the biggest authors. It's the story behind the stories. The bookshelf.
That was the bookshelf, and I actually quite like that idea. That was suggested by the Gurku Man.
Now on the bookshelf, your library questions solved in library trivia.
The next channel was suggested to be eKids, so I've taken some creative liberty on this, and the reason why is that eKids is already an existing brand on YouTube and it's mainly religion, and I think a religious kids channel might be a good idea if it was dealt with properly. But I didn't want to go into religion on this, so it was an Australian channel that broadcast to the UK and Canada, so that got me thinking about the concept. It's B-Kids, a new channel straight from Oz into your nut. Great fun kids shows from the land down under when you get back home from school. Pin back your ears, settle down with a packet of Tim Tams and a jar of Vegemite. There's no need to channel hop when you've got some great TV right here on B-Kids. Shows like Liftoff, Bananas in Pyjamas, Bluey and Bindi the Jungle Girl, A Girl's World, Mind Over Maddie, First Day, Round the Twist, Drop Dead Weird, Don't Blame the Koalas, and The Genie from Down Under, along with a mob's worth of Australia's best animation and kids programs. For classic and new Aussie kids shows, tune in to B-Kids, Sky Channel 623, Virgin 710 and Freeview 86. That was actually my best Australian accent. Sorry about that. So yeah, Drop Dead Weird actually looks genuinely like a great show. It's an Australian and Irish TV programme that's a co-production between Seven Network and RTE. Apparently it was on CITV in 2019. Had no idea. It's got the woman that plays Mrs. Doyle from Father Ted in it. It looks very much like a better version of My Parents Are Aliens, but the parents are zombies. First Day also is quite an interesting show. It's about a transgender girl starting secondary school, facing personal challenges and also finding out about herself. It's something that's a big issue right now for kids, but it's only recently become a topic of discussion. Australian Kids TV has a strong backbone with an organisation called the ACTF, which stands for Australian Children's Television Fund, which I think would be great if we had that kind of thing in this country, because it would keep kids TV going, as we've seen with the fall of CITV and also BBC's plans to get rid of CBBC, making it online only. The ACTF have been working with TV producers, assisting with funding and also creating their own programs and distributing them across the world, something that especially ITV franchises used to be able to do, but they don't do anymore. There's an organisation in the UK and it's called the Children's Media Foundation, and that's funded by donations. The UK used to have really strong kids content, but it doesn't anymore, so maybe something similar to the Australian structure would be good. Let's hope. The next channel, All the Time. This was suggested by channel member Wait Until Next Year, who said about a channel based on ITV's Nighttime. All the Time is based on ITV's Nighttime, Night Network, and also other programming from the late 80s to the early 90s held together with an in-vision presenter overnight. All the Time would be on all the time though. So at night time from 10 o'clock until 6 a.m. it'd have classic shows, mostly from America and ITV franchise produced programs and reboots. That includes films from the 1940s to 1995, clip shows from 1980 to 1995, talk shows from 1980 to 1995, and dramas from the US and Australia. Not forgetting general entertainment shows produced by local ITV franchises from 1980 to 1995. That would include shows like Prisoner Cell Block H, Murder, She Wrote, Kojak, Sons and Daughters, Saint Elsewhere, Hill Street Blues, The Hitman and Her, Hale and Pace, and Fry and Laurie. Now, because the channel is going to be broadcasting all the time, I wanted to put a nighttime skew to everything. So in the week, there's a breakfast show called Good Morning World, and it's based on the old TVAM/GMTV format. After school, there's a show called Cat, which is called Kids All the Time, and that's cartoons and programs from the late 70s to the 2000s, and it's all held together with in-vision continuity. Daily programming would be a mixture of old and new programs that would be on ITV nighttime if it was still on. The Medicine Channel is a channel where you can call up and speak to a doctor about your ailments because it takes forever to get a bloody doctor's appointment. I called my doctor today and I've got to wait nearly a month. It also tells you about conditions and what to do if you think you have them. They'd also sell things, so when Mary calls up and says about that she's got athlete's foot or whatever, and the presenter on a TV would be like, hey, have this fungal cream, it costs $2.99 from our special shop.
This, not your everyday item. Oh, no. You'll get this if you're right lucky, because I've only got 15 in the drop. Actually, I say only 15 in the drop. That's quite a large quantity for this time of night. At the moment, the price is up and over £1,000. If you want it, it is there for the taking. If you're over 18 with a major debit or credit card and you've never bought from us before, trust me, this could be one of the biggies of the whole day.
It would also have public information films about being healthy. Also, a show called What the Fuck Is That? People send in pictures of their various growths and get them judged by health people. Overnight would show stuff like Dr. Pimple Popper and I Weigh Too Much or whatever that program's called, and Biggest Loser, along with some health shows. There will be a show called Dr. Ointment's Snake Oil Show, and it's about a cartoon pig that tells you all about the untruths of medicines and also ones that claim to do things that they actually don't do. Are you a real doctor?
Of course, I've got a HD.
The Paint Drying Network is having a fresh lick of paint. From Monday the 23rd of October will be The Play Network. The same awesome presenters, but with more fun. Gaming, quiz shows, music, discussion, and play-at-home fun. The day starts at 6 a.m. with Good Morning Sunshine, the fun way to wake up, with the hottest music, funnest cartoons, and a metric heck ton of messing about. During the day, it's your chance to play at home and win some prizes with Prime Play. You could be the next to play Chain Letters, Tipping Point, or play your hits right from the comfort of your own living room. Replays and reboots with your favourite quiz shows along with Simon McCoy's All Clued Up and 321 with Dusty Bin and Greg Scott. Join our discussion shows about gaming, pop culture and the return of Quizmania. The Play Network. 24-hour fun. The next suggestion is from Sweet Stevie Allen, and it is the Oxo Family Channel. It's classic clips of the old Oxo Family advert days, starring Linda Bellingham as the mum, and maybe even some new episodes with the kids' family now all grown up, and retrospective features about the actors who played the other members of the family. I may have tacked some extra bits onto that. Now, as the main two people of the adverts are dead, it would be down to the kids, or at least one of them, to take the helm. Whether you could get one of the original actors to agree to return, that might be a different story though. The original actors were Blair McKeon. Actually, I need to stop myself here because I'm such a Columbo Poirot Miss Marple. My Sherlock senses were tingling. I recognise Blair out of sheer coincidence because he has a song called Have Fun Go Mad, and if you look back at the episode with WhereIt'sAt.tv and you find the original footage from David Rose, Rick Adams' show was called Have Fun Go Mad, and looking at Blair's career, he had a song called Have Fun Go Mad, and I looked at the video and it's the same person. In fact, the band is called Blair and the Sacred People. And now my mind is blown. Yes! Motherfucker! Have it! Jessica Fletcher! And also, Have Fun Go Mad got to number 37 on the 2nd of September 1995. Anyway, Blair, Colin McCoy, and Alison Reynolds, who is the youngest and I think is now in her early 40s. And the last thing she was properly acting in was a bit part in a film called Parting Shots. She was on screen for a few seconds and played Bob Hoskins' daughter. The film is weird. It stars Chris Rea, you know, the one from Driving Home for Christmas, and it also had Joanna Lumley in it. That actor that was always pissed, but such a great actor that he could act not pissed, Oliver Reed. And then also that guy who used to be a comedy genius but is now a parody of himself, John Cleese. It also had Ben Kingsley, Felicity Kendall, Peter Davison, and somebody credited as Michael Ayres, which to me looks a lot like John Bishop.
You do look good.
Anyway, back to Gravy, and I think it would be a great storyline if we were at their table and we were seeing their oldest kids having kids as well. Maybe a bit of a throwback to Linda Bellingham and Michael Redfern as a picture or something. That would be quite nice. The thing is, to have a whole channel dedicated to just this might mean a lot of repeating and it would get tired really quickly. So what I would say, similarly to some channels that I've still got coming up, that we watch the gravy being made and also some stories about gravy, that type of stuff. Make it just called the Oxo Channel. It's basically just one big Oxo advert. You know, like how Ocean Finance used to have its own channel? Yeah, like that. Sky Sports Chess would be the first entry into professional chess after gaining a 5-year contract to show the World Masters, Grand Chess Tour and also the Chess World Cup, along with the rights to show classic and local competitions. That's from, I think, Griff Lane. Rob Mortimer suggested the Tea Channel. I think it's a really good idea, but it did get my brain going again about how relaxing the channel could be. You could also have different kinds of tea and some other elements of what making a cup of tea entails. Like you could have water in a kettle bubbling away, boiling in slow motion with the bubbling sound of the kettle going, or the tea leaves moving around in a pyramid tea bag from PG. You can also have some public information films about how to make tea properly and the correct things to have with tea. For instance, in the UK, we have crumpets for breakfast. Americans think we have them with tea. Just for the record, crumpets are this holy bread thing that are not sweet, they're savoury. You usually put butter on them or this stuff that's called Marmite. It's basically this yeast spread and it apparently tastes like salty beef. I don't want to even go there. All I'm going to say is don't go overboard with that stuff, you'll get a seizure. Sometimes you can put butter and jam on crumpets for breakfast, but I've never known them to be with tea, and we certainly do not dip them in the tea. We might have scones or scones, depending if you're from the north or the south, on how you say that, and maybe some cream and jam on top, and whether jam or cream is first is debatable, but never dip it in the tea. People tend to invite others around for tea and cake or tea and biscuits. Biscuits are like cookies, but they're really crunchy and they tend to be sugary, but not really with chocolate chips. Some of them might have chocolate on the top, but not with chocolate chips. We call those cookies, the ones with chocolate chips. They are called cookies. You can dip a biscuit in your tea if you like, but not in fruit tea. Don't get me started on fruit tea. Tea, disgusting stuff in my opinion. Give me a warm Vimto any day. Yum yum. Don't dip anything in that, by the way. Anyway, I'd call the channel Brew 992 because it rhymes. You can have parts of the day where it would be in a relaxing tea room and maybe have some tips and advice on the best cakes to have with your tea. You could get Nicholas Witchell. Now, he is currently working as BBC's royal correspondent, but he is retiring next year. Plus, he is a mega respectable broadcaster, and to be a royal correspondent has got to mean that you're mega into stuff like royalty and the Queen that recently went off on her journeys to Deathville. Anyway, that's what I've got for that, the Tea channel. Next. Kaz Harris suggested the ReverseAdvert Channel, which would have lots of vintage adverts from the 70s and 80s on during the daytime, and then it should show clips of retro programs where the advert breaks would be. I kind of like that one. I would include adverts from the 1970s to the 2010s as well, because a lot of those aren't seen anymore. Maybe you can have certain hours dedicated to certain years. My only worry is having a TV show in the bits where the adverts would mean that you get about 3 to 4 minutes every half an hour of TV show, which, to be fair, would be annoying on the basis that it would take you about 4 to 5 hours to get through one show if it lasted an hour. The alternative to that, though, is to have the advert channel, which was a thing, and I've covered it before. What I would say, though, is that I think the advert channel could work if you included things like TV idents, public information films, and had a proper research team. I think if somebody gathered a few YouTubers and got us all to direct some shows and based it on advertising history and TV in general, that might be a better format. You could get Adam Martin of AMTV, Matthew Harris, aka Apple Mask and Bob the Fish Productions, and me, to name a few. The challenge to the original advert channel was that they couldn't play old adverts without permission. Since then, things have advanced, because if you're reviewing an old advert, for instance, you don't have to worry about copyright because you're reviewing it or criticising it, which is allowed. This could also be justification for certain shows as well, so maybe you could get some other YouTubers to be commissioned to review shows and programmes. The other issue was that Ofcom wasn't happy because they found it hard to distinguish what was adverts and what was programmes. So what I would do is have a little bar at the bottom with a web address and WhatsApp and Discord for contacts, and then on the other side saying, this item's not for sale.
That's because you're still using these fish heads and those slippery little sand eels. Look, love, why don't you try something different? Like this crunchy biscuit that's, chocolatey through and through.
Thanks. Can you almost take now, Missy Deli?
You see, when you pick up a package, pick up a person.
Oh, yes, so cute.
A fun fact for you, if you feed an actual penguin a penguin bar, it will die because chocolate is toxic to penguins. To distinguish between advertising and programming, we would have, like in Germany, where it says Werbung at the beginning of the advert and one at the end. Kennedy Hopkins suggested ITV Lifestyle. Do you remember the Lifestyle channel that used to be on cable and satellite? Well, I've decided that that it's going to be inspired by that, so this is what I came up with. So generally the idea is that ITV want to revamp their daytime programming, but also are aware that they're still quite popular. So what they want to do is launch a new channel called ITV Lifestyle, and they move all of ITV's daytime programming onto ITV Lifestyle so they can make a new ITV1. They'd leave Good Morning Britain, but they'd move Lorraine Kelly onto ITV Lifestyle along with Loose Women and This Morning. The reason why they want to revamp the daytime schedules will be because they've had the same schedule, pretty much the same, over the last 25 years or so. They'd fill up the rest of the day with entertainment shows, maybe produce some of their own stuff. The idea of it is that it'd be British as well, so they wouldn't take the American stuff like ITV2 and ITVB does, and it would probably be aimed at an older audience than what ITVB and ITV2 is. Couple of quick ones. Mark Smith said, what about Egg Timer TV? Yeah. I mean, it'd be pretty much the talking clock version of television, so there you go. Brian Stiasi suggested Small Brother, which is Big Brother but with little people. I hope you're talking about people being shrunk down, because the alternative is very much live TV weather. It would end up being a bit like Land of the Giants, you know that show? Because we don't have shrinking technology right now, we'd have to make the furniture bigger, so it would be impossible to sit on a chair. Account Closed would like to rename BBC 3 BBC Twat. Also BBC Question Mark, which is a renaming of BBC 4, and also the Love Island channel. All shit, all the time. CITV, a channel where you can see the people watching, and it's also the channel for opticians, ITV. 4Play, which is a spin-off from Film 4, broadcasting a mix of their late night sessions. My suggestion here, why not have a full channel dedicated to the Red Triangle programming? There's as much chance of that happening as BBC making their own version called See Boobies. And 5 viewers, a rebranding of 5 Select, reflecting the actual amount of viewers watching the channel. Also, Sky Plane, which is a channel dedicated to plane flying. Right, number 10 down. Thank you very much for having a watch. This one has been a right dickhead to edit, so thank you very much for watching it. Hey, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Hey, why not subscribe if you watch this video? Press the subscribe button for us, yeah? If you got this far in, you must have liked it, so like, share and subscribe. Leave this video today feeling proud that you've done a great thing. Thank you so much to our team members Sam Radmore, Joseph Adams, Manu 2001-3 and Chris Elliott. The executive producer is Computer Tom. I've been Johnny Robinson and I'll still be Johnny Robinson after this video's finished. Thank you, bye. And by the way, don't forget, you can join the crew, either join as a supporter, team member, or executive producer. I've uploaded some extra content, and I'll be adding more over the next few days of stuff that I didn't use in this video. Press join, or you can visit my Ko-fi or Patreon in the description.